Hi, welcome back to the workshop. It's part 3 of the Pi 169 debacle where we've got far too much EHT. We think something may be going thermal. I've also had some comments from Sundog on the VRAT forum. We're going to have a look at that in a minute as well. But we think something may be getting thermal, which is causing our EHT to skyrocket. So I'm going to run the same experiment as I did last time, measuring the boost voltage. Also, I'm going to attempt to measure the EHT whilst being able to look at the picture. So I'm going to use the EHT probe, top of the diode, because even though our EHT is skyrocketing, our width is staying about right. So I want to make sure that if we do change anything in the circuit or looking at how the fault is developing, I want to make sure that our width is right as well as our EHT at the same time. Now, for many moons, those of you that follow the website, the blog, you'll know that we've always used this stuff instead of freezer spray, because this is from Poundland, air duster. It's the last tin. Turn it upside down. It made an excellent freezer spray, and it was £1. Can't go wrong. Unfortunately, it can't get that anymore. It has gone. So we've had to look at alternatives. Now, freezer spray is very expensive. It's probably bad for the environment. Therefore, there's a tax on it. I don't know. But looking at the usual suppliers, CPC, Farnell and RS, etc., I didn't want to sell a kidney just to be able to repair this TV set. So once again, I've sort of been looking around to see what else we could use. There are freezer sprays that plumbers use, for example, if they need to work on a pipe, they can freeze a section of pipe, therefore being able to work on something later on. So there's kits available. Unfortunately, about the same price as we could buy ordinary electronic freezer spray for. And actually, when you look at the amount of refrigerant you get in the can, it's actually about half. So that was a non-starter. So we did look around. I found this. I'm not quite sure whether it's going to work or not. It's a Motip chewing gum remover. And it's even got a picture of a trainer with some sticky stuff. Ooh, horrible. Right, so the idea is that this freezes the chewing gum, turns it brittle, and you sort of chip it off. But it's got a similar sort of spec to our electronic stuff. Allegedly cools to -40, I think I read somewhere. Yeah. Effective to remove chewing gum from upholstery and pavement. Product characteristics: briefly lowers temperature to -40. Well, that'll work nicely. What does concern me is if it contains anything that might bring some moisture in. It's always a risk with freezer spray anyway, because when you cool something, obviously you get condensation on it. We're dealing with some quite high voltages in this set, so we don't want to create a leakage path through some moisture. But it's always a risk with freezer spray. If you're working on something that's got 5 or 12 volts on it, this isn't going to be any it's not a worry. Obviously our boost voltage is up in the 800s, so yeah. let's see what transpires anyway. Right, we'll have a quick look at the VRAT website. That's radios-tv.co.uk sort of forum. So this is the post from Sundog, which is relevant. I've been thinking about the circuit pathology, and I think I might understand it. Negative feedback is going through C71. Top of the pulses cause the VDR to conduct, so the average DC becomes more negative on top of the VDR, thus driving the grid more negative. Yeah, okay. We'll bring a schematic of that up in a second. The current through resistors 85 and 86 oppose this, causing a slight rise in the average grid voltage. Thus, the balance of values of C71 and the resistors is critical. Interesting to disconnect the resistors and see the result. That's going to be part 2 of my my experiment after I've had a look at this thermal thing. Having said all that, it might be a simple fault such as the VDR or the preset pot. Unless we got the preset going thermal, which I've never seen, I'm saying it's not an impossibility. I don't think that. I think we can rule that out, and it's not even scratchy. Simple faults such as the VDR. Now, it could well be the VDR. I'm just going to bring in the schematic here. So those are the two resistors that are sending our grid more positive, along with this capacitor. So if we just look across there, we can see that feeds the top of the VDR. Now, obviously, this line output transformer, we've swapped it out for something different, and we've never altered this. So it could be something as simple as the set warms up, you know, the things are going to change within the realms of normal operation. So parameters are going to change. The inductors are going to warm up, and there's an effect there which could cause this chain to eventually lose control of the grid and cause our EHT to skyrocket. It's running okay for a period of time, as we know, 20 minutes, and then after that 20 minutes, something lets go. Or it could be something as simple as this VDR, or something in here is thermal. As we said, don't think it's the pot, but I could stand to be wrong. And we've got these high value resistors here again. We checked those, they're okay. So they're in spec, but are they drifting? Well, I don't know. Well, worth checking. And like I say, of course, we've never modified this. So it could be that it just needs a tweak. It also could be that the fault has always existed, and it's actually this VDR failing and our EHT skyrocketing that killed the original transformer all those years ago. And so far, we've caught it in time every time it's failed. All right. Right. Let's run some experiments. Okay, so very similar setup that we had before. I've got scopes on the grid drive and the earthy end of the VDR again. Same as before. We're measuring the boost voltage on the fluke meter there. And I have added in the EHT meter, precariously balanced on the top here. It's upside down. I don't think you're going to be able to read that, but I'm going to be able to see it, so that's good. Yeah, so we can measure the EHT voltage whilst it's still driving the tube. So yeah, let's power up and see what happens. So we'll just wait for everything to warm up. The boost capacitor is currently at minus 150 volts. Have I got signal connected? No, I haven't. Right, hang on. Let us just connect a signal there. I'm not even quite sure that's switched on in the other room. Anyway, grid drives come up. We've got minus 301 volts on the boost capacitor, and that is moving slightly more positive now. Nothing on screen yet. Here we go. Boost voltage is about to go positive, and there it is. So we have a picture. We have EHT coming up to 14,000 volts. Okay. We've got a boost voltage of nearly 630 volts. Okay. So I've got my chewing gum remover. I had to find another nozzle. The one on there wasn't capable of taking a pipe. Had a little sort of nozzle on it, not good enough. Anyway, so I've just removed a nozzle from another can, and yeah, it looks good. So let's get it warm is the next thing to have happen. Okay, the boost voltage is starting to rise with temperature. EHT has risen slightly. We're a shade over 14 kilovolts. Yeah, there we go, look. EHT is now 16,000 volts. Boost is at 700. I'm just going to... Is that capacitor there? That's come down, but was that just because I took the heat gun away? Let's okay, 740. I'm looking for a step change here. Do you know that might be it? I got an EHT of about 15,000 there at the moment. Right, woo, 18,000 volts. See, it's just falling away slowly. I don't believe they're having much of an effect, except for there. Now that, what I'm freezing there is that feedback chain, R86, R85, and the capacitor across it, 774 was it? Let me just confirm that. Where's my recent? Yeah, C71, sorry, which is that feedback capacitor. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I would expect when that component cools that we get a very sharp change, and we're just sort of getting a change with temperature. Well, there we go. We've got lots happening now. 790. Do you know, I've just frozen that VDR and it's all fallen back down again. So, repeat again, warm it up right next to the VDR, cool the VDR. Whoa, 20,000 volts on our anode. Square to freezer. Coming down that fast though, is it? What else is around there? The grid drive capacitor. So that couples the AC from the line oscillator into the grid of the PL504. Whoa, 20 odd thousand volts. Whoa, 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 whoa. Instantly we're back down to about 14,000. Up she comes, 20,000. $16,000. $20,000. Still at 16,000, but corona discharge going on. Smell the ozone. You see, this time it's holding at 16,000. All right, back down to about 14,000 again. 19,000, 18,000. What other capacitance we got in there? There's another one in there. Just, it's nothing conclusive to me at the moment. Right, I think that is very unconclusive. I have suspicions about the VDR more than the other two capacitors. So let us do what Sundog suggests and actually lift those resistors and see what we get then. Okay, let's pause there and do that. Okay, so I have, and we can see that on the top camera there, R85 is hanging in midair. So it's still quite warm, so let's power up. Shouldn't take long. I think the cathodes are still quite warm. And I just got to watch that EHT. Okay, our line oscillator is now running. EHT is at 5 kV, 10 kV. Yeah, and it's steady at 10 kV, which is not much. Oh, crumbs, it's actually dropping off a little bit. Yeah, I've only got 400 volts boost, look. So that has proved that that has made a difference. Now, can we turn this up a little? Yeah, we can. Okay, so I've got a shade under 10 kilovolts there. And not enough width, so that has made a difference. Now I'm going to warm things up and see if again we can get a situation where it runs away. If it does, then okay, it's running away. We've got a thermal problem still, or we just need to adjust this feedback loop. So let's get it warm. Well, there goes the boost voltage. It's rising once again. We've now got 600 volts, even with the feedback loop disconnected. Squirt the VDR, and we're straight back under control. Ladies and gentlemen, our VDR is in fact faulty, I think, and I think Sound Dog's right. So now we've got the fun part of finding a new VDR. Okay. There is the offending article. You can just see it says DR1, the V is hiding underneath it, and the scope probe is on one end. That, I think, is the root of all our problems. And I wonder whether it's been faulty for a good while, and we've just it's never shown up before. So there we go. We need to now go on a bit of a search and see if we can find a replacement for it. A voltage dependent resistor. I've got the type number in the schematic, so we can go and have a look at that. Oh, and I've just noticed we've got a new subscriber, 393. There, marvellous. So welcome, whoever you are. You are most welcome. It won't always be about tellies, it'll be about other stuff as well. So yeah, right, let's go and see if we can find a VDR. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back very soon.